Hello YouTube, this is going to be the video on the Tanfoglio Stock II pistol, which is made over in Italy. Tanfo's been making guns for a long time. These are imported by European American Armory Corporation down in Florida. So let's get to it. This is the kind of a competition model that is manufactured by Tanfo. I purchased this gun used. Had roughly 600 rounds to it. As you can see, it looks pretty well brand new. If you notice, it has the Airgrafal Extreme trigger. It has the Titan Tanfoglio hammer, and it has internal work, polish, and a I want to say extreme disconnector to make the reset a little shorter. It has the Airgrafal EGD grips. They're aluminum scaled there, if you can see that. This is the model that has, it has the full dust cover, provides a lot of weight for the gun to reduce muzzle flip when you're shooting the gun in competition or at the range. Also has the bull barrel, if you notice that. So that front end's a little thicker there, keeps the weight of the gun down, it keeps the front of the gun down during shooting. This is also, if you can tell, they put like a chrome plating on the pistol. You can see there, sorry about the glare, Stock II. And it's a witness model in 9mm. Oh, there we go. You get the nice Tanfo logo on the grips. So this one's, like I said, it's already been worked over by a gunsmith who's probably polished all the internals. I've shot this gun a little bit, I think a couple hundred rounds roughly. Cleaned it up. Gun runs perfect. Dead on accuracy, of course, what to expect from Tanfoglio on their pistols. Just an overall beautiful pistol. It has your front slide serrations there, so you can grab on, run the gun. If you have to charge it fast, or if just a great gun. Comes with the extended magazine release. You can run that fast. Magazines, the ones made by Metgar are probably the most desirable. They hold 17 rounds, but for the most part, you're not gonna, if you're shooting production, you're not gonna go over 10 shots. So it's nice. That's a nice thing there. Those things. And the nice thing about these guns is when you shoot them in competition, you press the mag release. Unlike polymer guns, or some of the polymer guns like Glock, these mags shoot out the bottom. They don't stick in the gun like in the Glock, so kind of a advantage there. Oops. All right, so on to let's get into some of the trigger function and trigger weight. I'm going to take the mag out, and we'll kind of run the trigger just to show on video kind of how awesome it is. All right, we'll go ahead and pull. Very light trigger there. Do a reset. Let's focus before we do that. Sorry about the focus here. All right. That was the reset. Very light, very short. And then a double action pull. I'd say that's probably in the 6s. Honestly speaking, this gun, like I said, is only 600 rounds. I figure my experience with Tanfoglio pistols, I would say roughly around 3,000 rounds is when they kind of start breaking in, and parts will kind of maybe run a little smoother. So we'll do that again, double action. Like I said, this has all been lightened up. This is not a factory setting. Could use a little bit lighter of a recoil spring. Light pull. Do a reset. Very light. So probably right at 3 pounds on the brake for single action, and probably in the 6s for double, which will kind of get a lot less over time. These can get surprisingly light, the triggers, after they kind of break in. Even if you polish them, they're still going to take break in once the parts start matching up over time. So like I said, the more you shoot it, the more comfortable the gun gets. As far as the frames are a cast, so I believe this is cast stainless steel, and very, very appealing gun. There is kind of the mag well that comes with it from the factory. If you notice, they kind of open it up a tad. Once in a while you'll get little burrs and whatnot when you reload the pistol and magazine, so you can kind of smooth those off with a file maybe. These have a factory serration that's kind of, I would say this is cast into the frame. Helps for good grip. However, you might want to add grip tape at some point. These grips are pretty nice. They are thin, so if you've got short fingers, they work out pretty well. They fit me pretty well, so I got big hands and short fingers, so they work out pretty well. There are other grips available for these guns, like the scale grips, but also your Bowmar style rear adjustable sight. It's kind of a must-have on a competition gun, so you can zero the gun in perfectly and to make it dead on. And I believe this is the probably Eric Grafal front sight. It's a little thick for my taste, so I'll probably switch to a Dawson. Kind of get a close-up on those. Get that to focus there. And not really. Okay. Well, there's the sights anyways. So this is overall a very nice pistol. Looking forward to someday shooting it in production. I usually shoot my stock 3, but got this towards the end of the season. Wasn't able to really compete with it, but I was able to take it out and shoot it, and in a informal setting, just range shooting, and ran fine. Great pistol. Like I said, these are impossible to get right now. If you can find one, pick it up if you're looking for a production gun. I do favor these over the CZ guns. However, that's probably personal preference. I do think these are maybe a little bit nicer. However, performance is probably going to be similar. I don't think that one gun is necessarily better than the other from a scientific standpoint. I think they pretty much do the same thing, and they're probably close to the same accuracy. Like I said, this one does have your some modifications, like your front sight, your extreme trigger, which on the extreme triggers there's not as much of a radius. It's kind of a more of a flatter trigger, so you don't, when you pull the trigger, once it does start to break, you're not canting the gun or turning it any which way or pulling it down. So that flat trigger lends itself to going straight back motion instead of a curved like you would on the stock trigger that might tend to pull the gun downward when you go fast in double action. Like I said, this has the desirable Titan hammer, which is an aftermarket piece, or rather an aftermarket piece from Tanfo anyways. So these do have these come with ambidextrous safeties, if you can tell. I don't really use the left hand. Some people actually take this. You can take this lever off. It's just held on with a roll pin. And there's that side. It's kind of a tight safety, which is fine. Your thumb's going to go over it anyways. You're not really going to use the safety in production, USPSA. So maybe a little more on the magazine here. Like I said, the magazines that are produced by Metgar, they're large frame, so it's fairly large. The actual outside perimeter of the magazine is made, to accept maybe 10 millimeter at the most, or 45. So all the guns being imported into the United States today from Tanfo or through EAA are large frame guns. So basically, if it was a larger caliber, the actual outside of the gun would be the same size. So the large frame, hence the large frame. I'm not sure why. It's probably just something they standardized, made it cheaper just to bring in all large frame pistols. And like I said, the magazines work great. I have noticed some break in with the magazines. If you see any high spots in the follower, or if you come across a malfunction, you might want to look at the follower and smooth it off with a file internally. But overall, the magazines are pretty awesome for the price. You can usually get them around anywhere from $15 to $25, and they pretty good performance. Some people will add a aluminum base pad from Springer, or Henning, or I think Shock Bottle, I think, is the other one who makes the aluminum base pads. Any of those will probably serve you just fine in production division. And like I said, if you can get a hold of one of these pistols, you're doing good, because they are a performer, especially once they break in. You know, there is, I will say this, there is a small break-in period with the Tanfos. Just go out and shoot them, get to know how it performs, and I think you're going to be really satisfied with the accuracy, the shootability of these guns, and of course they are just dead sexy. They're a beautiful pistol. They're probably one of the most aesthetically pleasing pistols on the market. They're just really awesome. You take this to a gun range and everybody's like, wow, what the hell is that? So, you know, these are really nice. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment field. Please like and subscribe to my page. I try to put up gun videos on guns that I think are interesting. I'm not much into the normal stuff, but I do like the competition guns. I do like historical stuff. So another thing I forgot to mention here is this is a newer model. If you see the pictures of the older models, they have quite the beaver tail that kind of aims upward, and it will be thinner here, and it kind of rises higher. The older models are actually a little more uncomfortable. Tanfo went ahead and made this more of a thicker piece here on this beaver tail, and they made it more of a duckbill shape. It's just kind of cool to say duckbill. But this is actually more comfortable with the duckbill. It might not be as maybe attractive, but definitely feels better, because I've owned both, and the newer style Tanfo duckbill is an improvement over the older one, even though the older one wasn't bad. But anyhow, if you can find one, pick one up. I think you're going to be very, very impressed with it. And even if you don't shoot production at some point, you might not want to get rid of it, because like I said, they go in dry spells and they're damn near impossible to come across. So I found myself very lucky to come across this, and was able to purchase it. I've had a limited pro, which I don't have anymore, and I wish I had back. I wish I would have never sold the limited pro. I do still have my Stock 3, which was my first Tanfo, and that's not going anywhere. So the Tanfo Stock 3, it's a hair longer, a little heavier, but works just as well, and is probably just as accurate. They're both, the 3 and the 2 are both great guns for what they are. And if you can get a hold of either one, I think you're going to be very pleased with them. So anyways, thanks for watching the video, and hope you enjoyed checking out my Tanfo Stock II, and I hope you get the ability to purchase one day, and I think you're going to be very happy with it. Anyhow, thank you for watching, and take care.